Hello, you all. I just wanted to extend that story I was talking about because there's so much about what I have done in the past to help others, and also my life is just this way. It's kind of crazy. Um, First, remember I told you he said something to me while I was going up to New England? He said, "Now I have you where I need you." And I thought about, what's that mean? And then I told you about the story that I shared with you just recently. Well, there's a little bit more to that. So, when I started living with my parents, I started working with bands. And a friend of mine had a band, and they started with a band called Night Watch. Well, not Night Watch. That's right, Night Watch is the one I was in high school. This one was called Badlands. I don't know if they really officially put it into the name of Badlands, but that's what they wanted it to be. So I started working with the band. Well, found out there was a girlfriend that was a little bit jealous. So therefore, I just worked and helped my friend that was the bass player in the band. So therefore, I really did not get on stage with the band. Didn't want to cause any problems. Therefore, that's when I really started feeling like I've got to do something with my music. Because I knew, well, I had my guitar, I might as well start doing something with it. So I started writing, and really writing. Well, I was writing since I was 7, but this really sealed it. And I started writing and writing all the time. Therefore, I was at home with my mom and dad, and things were just too crazy. I had to go back down to West Virginia. Like I said, my parents would have taken care of me forever. So I moved in with my aunt and uncle in Maryland and lived on the 3rd floor. I was an insurance agent, going back and forth to Maryland to work as an insurance agent. Not doing much with my music at that time. But I started getting more writings, and I was writing all the time. Then I found a place in West Virginia. Good thing, because I was freezing over in my family's house, my cousins and aunts and uncles' house. It was a little cold upstairs on the 3rd floor. It did have a little heater, but it was cold. I found a place in West Virginia and stayed with an old boyfriend's mom. Well, he started coming over, not knowing that he would even show up, because he had a girlfriend, and they were living in Shepherdstown. That was just fine with me. I was going to work back and forth as an insurance agent. I mean, I was trying to get my life back started again. And that was getting too nutty. So I moved in with a girlfriend in Shepherdstown in her apartment. Well, that was even crazier. Well, I stayed there for a while, and then I found a place right in Martinsburg. So, or the outskirts of Martinsburg, not really in Martinsburg. Now it is, but it was the outskirts. And lived there. Nice size apartment with all kinds of rooms. So I got the furniture. Oh, three-handed furniture it's been passed down to 3 or 4, 5 families, but I got it before they put it in an auction. That's okay. It was all I needed. So therefore, I lived there, and then I met my future husband, which is, it was on his birthday. And I wrote about that. I do have a writing about that. I will offer that as one of my mini albums. But anyway, to get back to it, he was in the Air Guard. And it was his birthday, and I met him at a bar. Yeah, because that's about the only place you met anybody anymore. I mean, those days is at bars, or maybe a pool hall, or bowling. Anyway, and we hit it off right away, he was talking about a log home. And I just was really amazed, because most people are just talking about, the sky and what they're doing today and tomorrow, and, but this guy was actually talking about what he wanted to do in the future. And he amazed me. And I guess I amazed him. I never thought talk to somebody like me, being a musician and a singer. But anyway, we hit it off. And he was working at the Air Guard, flying in and out all the time because of the missions they had. This was in the early 80s. And had to fly down to Panama 2 or 3 times because of Noriega. I think that's how you say that name. Anyway, I started to go to school as a beautician. Yes, I cut my own hair all the time. Hope it looks good. Yeah. Anyway, I cut my hair quite a bit. And I started cutting his hair and a few other friends' hair because I was a beautician, and also working at a restaurant. I had those 2 jobs and going over to see him once in a while when he was here to his parents' house. Therefore, I started working as a beautician after I got my license and, went through school. That was a whole year. He was still flying in and out different places. And I didn't know if he was really serious or not, but we always had a good time meeting up with each other when he was here. We would run into each other at a bar or a pool hall. But he started to actually get pretty serious and asking me if I wanted to get married. I was like, no, it's just no. I'm just trying to get my life going. I don't need to do that right now. So about 4.5 years, we dated. I'm to see if he was going to stay and things are going to stay okay. Because after going through a divorce, that's what you get. You get really shy of being too serious. But yeah, we got married and moved to a little apartment. The little apartment was so cute, but we couldn't put too much in it. And we didn't even have a living. We had a living room, but we didn't have quite a dinette even. It was just like a kitchen with a side piece that was a little bar. And there was just not enough room. Well, we found a mobile home. And the mobile home was on the lot. And they would actually bring it out here, which we paid dearly for. It was brand new, though. And we put it on this piece of property that his dad had. I thought, that's kind of strange to be his dad's piece. Okay, well, we put it on his parents' property. And with my mom and my dad, they also had, their own property. And I was thinking, you have to have your own property, don't you? Well, anyway, we lived there quite a long time. And I would keep on asking his mom, say, can we purchase a piece of property? And she'd go, no, we'll wait until you can afford it. I think, no, we can start paying for it now, you know. We're both working. She wouldn't reveal that at the time. So we lived on the property with our mobile home. And then John, my husband, he wanted to build a log home. Well, we looked at log homes, and by God, the thing was all the way out in Bloomsburg, Indiana, and we brought it here. And we put it in our shed, kind of barn shed, where I had 2 horses, and left them there for years, 2-3 years, to get the, you know, get them to be ready to be built. So we put the house up. And my daughter was born. She was just about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months, maybe 8 months, when we started building the log home. And she would help Dad with a little tiny hammer, her little rubber hammer. When he would hammer, she'd hammer. It was cute. It was really cute. But yeah, we built the log home ourselves with an engine hoist, and my husband's so strong, he was picking up the logs and putting them onto the center. And that's our log home. That log home he talked about years ago, when we just met, we built. So he wasn't just telling me a story. He was telling me the real journey he wanted to do. But we had to go, and property had to get paid. That's what I was worried about. I was very concerned about it. And we found out about it. Oh my gosh, we took every penny we had to make sure that we paid the taxes. Because Mom and Dad got very sick, to make sure that we did not lose this piece. So this is where we are now. And that's the rest of the story. So if you keep on listening, you keep on seeing me on here, I'll tell you another part of the story, because there's a lot more to go. But that's why I had to do it in sections. You have a great day, great night. Bye-bye.